Thank you very much.
Dear colleagues, dear friends, I just encourage you to use the headphones. I'll speak in Ukrainian, and please use the interpreter.
Dear Mr. President Zelensky, dear Andreas, honorable speakers, honorable heads of delegations, honorable Madam Minister, dear friends. First of all, allow me to sincerely thank our Swedish partners and friends for the warmth and hospitality in this cold time of year, as well as for the exceptionally high level of organization of this traditional forum. And I'm particularly grateful to a great friend of Ukraine, Speaker Norlén, for the decision to host this year's Fourth Parliamentary Summit of the International Crimea Platform. And I'm pleased to see among the constant participants of our gathering the heads of parliaments of Croatia, Czechia, Latvia, who hosted the 3 previous summits. And I'm grateful to each person present in this hall, not only for coming to Stockholm. I'm sincerely grateful for the enormous assistance that your countries have been consistently providing to Ukraine for almost 4 years now, since the moment of Russia's full-scale aggression against Ukraine. I want to thank you on behalf of the Ukrainian people, on behalf of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine, on behalf of the representative Ukrainian delegation present here today in this hall, and they represent all factions and groups of the Ukrainian parliament. Friends, today we have gathered to speak about Crimea, and we will speak about how Russia is turning the Crimean Peninsula into a military base used in its aggression against Ukraine, how Ukrainian schools are being shut down in Crimea annexed by Russia, how Russia's shadow fleet is exporting grain stolen from Ukraine from Crimean ports, how those citizens who disagree with the regime's actions are being persecuted, and how proud we are of those who, representing different peoples, never cease fighting and continue resisting the actions of the Russian occupation administration. But this is not everything we will speak about today. Today, we will also speak about how to jointly stop the Russian aggression, how to put an end to the desecration of the international law, and also about what, after all, the peace plan for Ukraine must be like. Dear friends, as you know, last Thursday in Kiev, we officially received from the American delegation a draft plan concerning the ending of the war. We agreed that our teams would work on these proposals, and yesterday our delegation held the first round of negotiations with the American partners. And as President of Ukraine Zelensky said yesterday evening, there are signals that President Trump's team is hearing us. And we are ready to move towards a genuine peace, and we've always said that, but allow me to set out our key principles and priorities. You know that from the very first day of the war, Ukraine has been striving for a peace that respects our independence, sovereignty, and our dignity. Ukraine is ready for substantive negotiations on ending the war, including at the level of leaders. At the same time, we must designate the Ukrainian red lines, which no one has the right to cross, neither physically, nor legally, nor morally. No legal recognition of the Russian occupation of Ukrainian territories, no restrictions on Ukraine's defense forces, no veto on Ukraine's right to choose its future alliances. Any genuine peace process must be based on a very clear principle: nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine, and nothing about Europe without Europe. Yes, and we will never renounce our own language, our faith, or our national identity. Yesterday, during a tour of the Riksdag, Speaker Norlén showed me the first constitution in Ukraine, and thus in the world, of the Ukrainian Hetman Pilip Orlek, which was dated, just think about it, to 1710. Dear friends, the presence of this unique Ukrainian document within the walls of the Swedish Riksdag holds deep symbolism and great meaning for me as a lawyer and as a citizen of Ukraine. Because the constitution and the will of one's own people are yet another red line that no one may ever violate. I am convinced that an important component of a real peace plan, which will inevitably lead to ending the Russian aggression, is strengthening Ukraine's defense capabilities of Ukraine and Europe, reliably protecting Ukraine's skies, and safeguarding critical infrastructure. Therefore, your consolidated and unconditional support for Ukraine as a victim of aggression, dear friends, is an important, if not the key element of a peace plan. We need to move forward in the process of finalizing and providing Ukraine with reliable security guarantees from recognized world democracies, the United Europe and the United States of America. On the other hand, we must maximize sanctions pressure on Russia until Putin is ready to conclude peace. And it would be just to use Russia's frozen assets, because this is the price for aggression, and the price for the lives taken, and the price for the destruction inflicted. We sincerely believe that on the 18th, 19th of December, the Council of the European Union will adopt fair decisions on this matter. Besides, Ukraine's membership in the European Union and NATO must also be elements of both Ukraine's security guarantees and the peace plan. Only under these conditions will Russia retreat, because it will finally understand that it cannot overcome and seize Ukraine as an integrated part of the democratic world. That Ukraine, once and for all, has become part of the world where there is no place for tyranny and where democracy prevails. We sincerely believe that the consolidated strength of our partners can truly bring this peace that we all long for closer to us. And dear friends, we have no right to waste this chance. So I ask each and every one of you to use your own capabilities while working with our partners, the US administration and Congress, the European Parliament, and parliaments of other countries of the world, to achieve this result. Dear friends, a decisive moment in our struggle is approaching. The struggle for Ukraine, the struggle for Europe, the struggle for a lasting and just peace. We are under enormous pressure from the enemy, from its deceitful propaganda, under the enormous pressure of fatigue and losses. But friends, let's be honest. There's another pressure that does not allow us to surrender to the enemy's mercy and cease fighting. And this pressure is far greater, because this is the pressure of our own conscience. It is the pressure of the memory of all our victims and all our suffering. It is the pressure of responsibility, joint responsibility for the future, and it is the pressure of our dignity. And this pressure will not allow us to retreat. So thank you for your attention, and glory to Ukraine.
Sorry. Distinguished